Imagine getting a call that changes your life forever. Your father, a respected man in your community, is rushed to the hospital after collapsing mysteriously. You arrive only to be told he's dead. But then, in a moment that feels impossible, his eyes open, and with his last breath, he whispers the name of his killer. This isn't just any story, it's a chilling tale of family secrets, betrayal, and a dark truth buried deep beneath the surface. What happens when the person closest to you is the one you should fear the most? Stay with me as we unravel the haunting events behind that whispered name, a revelation that could destroy everything she ever believed about family, loyalty, and justice. It was supposed to be an ordinary Thursday for Nnenna, overcast skies, the usual buzz of motorcycles on the streets of Enugu, and a pile of patient files to sort at the small community clinic where she worked. She was halfway through lunch when her phone rang. The voice on the other end was shaky. "Nnenna, your father collapsed this morning. He's at St. Luke's." She didn't even stop to ask questions. She just ran. Her father, Chief Osita Nwok, was a prominent businessman in the community. Respected. Feared. A man of strong will and questionable friends. But to Nnenna, he was simply Papa, strict but loving, distant but dependable. She hadn't seen him in almost 3 weeks, not since their argument over the new land he had acquired. She'd accused him of becoming greedy. He'd called her ungrateful. Neither apologized. The drive to the hospital was a blur. The corridors of St. Luke's reeked of antiseptic and silence. Nurses rushed by, whispering. She was directed to the ICU, and there, under a pale fluorescent light, she saw him. Lying on the hospital bed, tubes protruding from his arms, monitors beeping faintly, Chief Osita looked smaller, older. A nurse met her eyes with a look that made Nnenna's stomach sink. "He went into cardiac arrest an hour ago." "I'm so sorry. We tried." Nnenna dropped to her knees. Her heart splintered into pieces. It was a surreal kind of grief, slow, creeping, as though her body hadn't yet caught up with the news. Her papa, gone. But just as the nurse turned away, something happened. The heart monitor gave a weak blip. Then another. The nurses froze. "Doctor," one of them shouted. Nnenna backed away as the room buzzed into action. They called it a miracle. His pulse was faint but there. He was alive, barely. For hours, Nnenna sat outside the ICU, gripping her rosary, whispering silent prayers. No one could explain it. He had no pulse for nearly 7 minutes. No one came back from that. By early evening, the doctor came out. "He's breathing on his own," he said cautiously. "You can see him. But be brief. He's still very weak." The room was dim. A soft light from the window fell across Chief Osita's face. His eyes fluttered open slowly. His lips moved. "Papa," Nnenna choked, rushing to him. "I'm here." He blinked, as if struggling to focus. Then, with a trembling finger, he motioned her closer. She leaned in. His voice was barely audible, the ghost of a whisper. "Emeka. Emeka killed me." Then his eyes rolled back. The monitors screamed again. The doctors rushed in. Nnenna was pulled back, dazed and frozen. Emeka. Her uncle. Her father's younger brother. The one who'd helped build their family empire. The man who'd comforted her just this morning. Why would he say that? As they worked on him again, Nnenna stumbled back into the hallway, her mind reeling. Her father had come back from the edge of death, just to accuse someone. But was it a dying delusion, or the truth? And if it was the truth, what did Emeka have to hide? The answers lay buried in a past she wasn't ready to confront. The hospital corridors blurred around Nnenna as her father's haunting whisper echoed in her mind. Emeka. Emeka killed me. She tried to reason with herself. Maybe it was the drugs. Maybe it was the trauma. But deep down, something cold settled in her chest. Her father wasn't one to speak lightly, especially not in the face of death. She sat outside the ICU waiting for an update. Minutes felt like hours. Eventually, the doctor came out again, exhaustion etched on his face. He slipped into a coma. His vitals are stable, but he may never wake up. Nnenna thanked him numbly. Her world felt like it was cracking open. She needed answers, and there was only one place to start. That evening, she visited Emeka's mansion in GRA. The gates opened slowly, like they too were wary of what was to come. Emeka welcomed her with his usual warmth, arms wide, voice calm. "Nnenna. I was just about to come see you. I heard about Osita, how is he?" She studied his face. He looked genuinely concerned. But now every smile felt like a mask. He woke up. Briefly, she said, choosing her words carefully. "Eh? What? That's incredible. And what did he say?" Nnenna hesitated. He was barely coherent. Just mumbled things. Emeka nodded slowly. "The mind plays tricks when it's dying. You know that." She nodded too, but in her heart, a new suspicion was taking root. Back home, she dug into old files, land documents, business records. Her father had always kept meticulous notes. In a locked drawer, she found a dusty ledger, and inside it, pages stained with age and secrets. Emeka's name appeared again and again in questionable transactions, millions of naira redirected, plots of land transferred in secrecy, shell companies created and dissolved. She recognized some of the locations. One of them was the land her father had argued with her about just weeks ago. Then there were notes in her father's handwriting, brief, cryptic sentences. "Emeka growing too ambitious. Miriam warned me. She had him on the phone. If anything happens to me." The rest of the page had been torn out. Miriam. The name jolted her. Miriam was their former housemaid, discreet, loyal, and mysteriously fired last year without explanation. Nnenna had thought nothing of it at the time, but now it felt deliberate. It took hours, but she finally tracked Miriam down in a small village on the outskirts of Nsaka. The woman was hesitant at first. "Madam Nnenna, please, I no want wahala. I just want the truth," Nnenna pleaded. "Please." After a long pause, Miriam sighed. "I hear Oga Emeka on phone, madam. One night, when I dey clean the veranda. He talk say Osita must go. He hold everything for himself. It's time for change. He no I hear am. When I tell Oga Osita, he sack me. Say make I go before them turn me to target." Nnenna's blood ran cold. It was no longer a whisper from a dying man. It was now a puzzle snapping into place. And the final piece. A sealed envelope tucked behind the ledger, addressed to her, in her father's handwriting. She opened it, hands trembling. Inside was a letter. The first line read, "If you're reading this, then I was right." Her father had known. Now the question was, what would she do with that knowledge? Because if Emeka was behind it all, he wouldn't stop just because Chief Osita survived. He might come back to finish what he started. And this time, Nnenna could be next. The letter trembled in Nnenna's hands, the ink smudged slightly as if her father's fears had bled onto the paper. She read on, each word heavier than the last. "Emeka's greed is a poison that's eating our family from within. He's willing to kill to take what isn't his. Trust no one but yourself. Protect the children. Find the truth before it's too late." Her mind raced. The man she once thought of as her uncle, her father's trusted brother, was a shadow lurking behind a mask of kindness. But how could she expose him? How could she fight a powerful man who had allies everywhere? Nnenna made a decision. She contacted a trusted journalist friend in Lagos, someone who specialized in corruption and family sagas like these. Together, they began gathering proof, bank records, property documents, and testimonies from old associates who were too scared to speak openly. But danger followed every step. One night, as she returned home late, a motorcycle roared past her and a masked figure tried to grab her bag. She escaped by the skin of her teeth, shaken and more determined. Meanwhile, her father lay in the hospital bed, unconscious but stable. Nnenna stayed by his side, whispering prayers and secrets, wishing he could wake fully and guide her. Then, one humid evening, the phone rang. The voice on the other end was cold, unmistakable. "Stop digging, Nnenna. Leave Emeka alone, or you'll be next." She hung up, hands clenched. Fear was real, but so was her resolve. Days later, with the journalists' help, they unveiled the evidence. Emeka had forged documents, bribed officials, and orchestrated the attack that nearly killed Chief Osita, a brutal poisoning masked as a heart attack. The community was stunned. Emeka was arrested, his empire crumbling. In the final moments of his lucid days, Chief Osita called Nnenna close. His eyes, once dim, flickered with recognition and pride. "You did what I couldn't," he whispered. "Justice is not just law, it's courage." But the victory was bittersweet. The family was fractured, trust shattered. Nnenna realized that evil sometimes hides in familiar faces and that truth carries a heavy price. As she stood outside the hospital, watching the sun dip behind the city's skyline, she thought of her father's words. In a world where loyalty and betrayal are two sides of the same coin, sometimes survival means facing the darkness within your own blood. And that was a truth she was willing to carry, no matter the cost. What are your thoughts on this chilling story? Do you think Chief Osita was telling the truth when he named his killer? And if you were in Nnenna's shoes, would you have had the courage to dig deeper, even if it meant risking your life? Backhand index pointing down. Share your answers in the comments. Did the ending surprise you? What punishment do you think Emeka truly deserves? Have you ever experienced a moment where someone you trusted turned out to be hiding something dark? I'd love to hear your perspective. If this story gripped you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real, spine-chilling African stories. And hey, drop a suggestion for what you'd like to see next. Your idea might just become our next story.